Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. It's great to have you on the show again. Well, last week, remember, we started the conversation with Chude and we promised to continue and conclude on that conversation. Well, the book is How Depression Saved My Life. Comments have been coming in. Glad you are reading this book. If you have not picked up your own copy, go get it, read it. Look, this is a loaded book. Trust me on this. It's just a loaded book, especially if you are trying to discover yourself, understand what is going on in there. It's not just about depression, by the way. Depression is a big subject, major subject. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, we don't pay attention to mental health a lot. Many times somebody expresses mental health issues. We often regard them as maybe they don't know what they're doing, or they are weak, or it's a problem they can easily solve and all that. But mental health issues are major, as you would have heard from Chude during the last episode of Channels Book Club. Well, depression is big deal, major deal. But beyond depression, this book is loaded with so many things. Understanding yourself, understanding who you are, understanding relationships, the dynamics of relationships, and how all those things dovetail into every aspect of your life, business and work, career, finance, and so on, all in here. So grab a copy of this and read along with us, and let's know what you think. But let's dive into the concluding part of that conversation with Chude. Enjoy this.
Chude Jideonwo is a media entrepreneur, filmmaker, and author. Chude's 25-year career spans advertising, public relations, television, radio, print, and digital media. In 2016, he stepped away from his roles as the co-founder and CEO of Red for Africa and founded Joy Incorporated. Chude has been a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, CNBC Young Business Leader of the Year, an Archbishop Desmond Tutu Fellow, and a World Fellow at Yale University. He is the author of Are We the Turning Point Generation? And How to Win Elections in Africa, Parallels with Donald Trump. Chude joins Channels Book Club to discuss his newest book, How Depression Saved My Life.
Previously on Channels Book Club.
I realized that this hollowness is a very familiar feeling for high-achieving people, because for many of them, again, they were taught, like, again, just using the Bible, it's not as if the Bible, like Jacob cheated his brother, stole his brother's birthright, did all of these things, thinking that then his brother is happier than him. Then he's having nightmares, he's wrestling with God. So you thought that all those things were going to give you something, were going to make you feel something. You threw everything at it. At least if you've not achieved it, you can say it is because you've not achieved it. But when you've achieved it, you feel empty, because you realize I climbed that mountain for nothing.
Okay, so chapter 4.
Right.
You wanted to jump in the water.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
Right. So I explained to people that the depression was going to come anyway. I say I'm a religious person and I call myself a spiritual person. And so a few months before, I was doing a walk. I used to do a walk early mornings before people wake up, and I just meditate where I was living. And I heard an audible voice say, "Would you still love me if I took everything that you had?" And I'm a Pentecostal Christian, so I assume that the voice is God. And I say, "Don't try me, I'm going to fail." So I knew that something was coming. I just didn't know what. Now, a lot of things were happening in my life. My relationships were collapsing. My health was struggling, all of that. My personal relationships, my friendships, my intimate relationships, And then there was a collapse in my political worldview.
Yeah, coming back to that.
Yeah. And so all of this was happening. So now that I think of it, because I wasn't conscious of that, my mind was that depression was gaining momentum. So it would have gotten there ultimately. But what eventually triggered it was that I had a financial crisis for the first time since I started working. And so that financial crisis was now the major thing, that was the major thing that triggered it. So what had happened was, and for months, we were dealing with this financial crisis as a business, and I was the CEO. So we were trying to solve it, myself and my co-founder, and it was not working, for months. We're dipping into our savings. Then that day, as I remember it, the second biggest revenue earner in the company sends me a message that she's resigning.
Oh my.
So I remember I am in VI, I'm driving back to the island, to the mainland where I live, and I get this thing. So my depression is already tiredness. I describe it as tiredness inside tiredness. So I'm barely functioning. I'm just getting slivers of light to function. And then she says this. So as I'm driving back home from VI,
everything just came together.
My energy is seeping out. I can feel my energy seeping out. So I'm just like, let me get home first. So I go or climb over, everybody knows the route, climb over CMS, go down, Akbombon, climb over a Crow Bridge because I was living in Surulere, climb on a Crow Bridge. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. My heart is aching. And I'm just like, I'm tired of feeling this way. So I look, I don't know what happened. Either I saw the water first, so I looked at the water and I thought, it just occurred to me. And this is how I think of it. This is how depression is, because your mind is not functioning optimally. I don't think I should come down and jump. I think I should drive the car. And so I think if drive the car and I fall into the water, then everything will be all right. And I will not feel this pain anymore. I will not feel this tiredness anymore. I'm tired. And so I called it a terrifying coolness. And so I moved from the road. This is how I remember it. I moved to the right side of the road. I slowed down. Then I stopped. Then I stopped because for the first time in months, I feel peace. Like I'm in control of my life now. Like I know what to do now.
Well,
yeah.
They'll have to read
the book to see.
Well, it's really very touching. Well, let me take you away from depression a bit.
Right.
The characters in your book that I want to meet.
Okay.
Your parents.
Right. Yes.
I would like to meet.
Love that.
Adebola. I've never met Adebola.
You're telling me.
Your famous partner.
Yes.
Adebola in this book.
Yes.
Francisca.
You said that
in this book.
Yes.
Your therapist, whoever she is. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You know, and quite a number of other people there. Fela Durotoye.
Yes.
It was your meeting. It was that encounter with Fela Durotoye that actually changed everything.
Yes, it was the turning point.
Ultimately.
Yes. Oh, I feel like tearing up just thinking about it.
That was when.
Yes.
And I like the way you described what he said. Before then, you had some form of crisis of faith. And there's a chapter in this book titled Spirituality, right?
Yes, spiritual, yes.
Where you spoke about your journey, just experiencing all sorts. Your journey to the edges of atheism and agnosticism and so on. So you then met Fela. At that point.
Yeah.
If he had tried to advise you, you probably would have...
He would have lost me. If he had tried to tell me, I know what is wrong, he would have lost me. I knew, like, I was ready. I was ready, like I said in the book, I said I'd learned to smell a B word from the pulpit.
From the pulpit.
And because all of those things had failed me. Prayers, deliverance, fasting, it had all failed. It wasn't helping. So, and it was the certainty of the prophets and the prayers and the pastors that had offended me. If they had told me that trouble was coming, that they didn't have answers. But nobody, so I was tired. I was tired of the religion of certainty.
People sounding like they have the solution.
They have the answer.
But they had no idea.
They had no idea. So when I asked Fela, why is this happening? So it's like I was setting a trap. Because by that time I'd already concluded that I am leaving my faith. So it's like, let me see what you're going to say. Then Fela said, I said, why is God making me go through this? I said to him, I said, look, by that time I'd already written articles criticizing of government. I'm like, look, if I was in prison, it would make sense to me. I'm suffering for my beliefs. I'm suffering for my principles. But I'm suffering for nothing. It's useless suffering. I remember using the word, it's useless suffering. And I said, why is this happening to me? And Fela said, I don't know.
Yeah. It really does.
It pierced through my defenses.
Finally met somebody who doesn't know.
Yes, I finally met somebody who doesn't know. And that was powerful for me.
So that won you over?
That won me over. There's a movie, now that I think of it, there's a movie called Doubt, Meryl Streep. Said doubt is a force as powerful as faith. Doubt is Jesus saying on the cross, my Father, why have you forsaken me? It's as powerful a testament of relational faith as I am the Son of God. So that's uncertainty from Fela, because that uncertainty acknowledges our humanity, acknowledges that we are not God. We don't have all the answers. It is sitting with another person in their pain and saying, I don't know why, but I empathize with you. And I wrote it in the book that sometimes that's the most powerful antidote to people dealing with depression, to sit still, to wait with love. So he told me what he did know, but he didn't pretend to know what I was going through. That was powerful for me.
That was powerful.
Yes.
And the chapter on spirituality, you lost your faith. You stopped believing.
Yes.
You had questions.
Yes.
A lot of people go through that, don't they?
Of course, they go through that all the time. They pretend they don't.
They pretend they don't,
But
right?
they do. But they do.
But it's getting more and more, that's chapter 5, page 99, spiritual. In fact, at the point, as I was reading at the point, I said, this guy don't become an atheist though.
And let me tell you, yes, because that's where it looked like it was going
yeah,
to.
that was,
yes.
yeah.
There's a part of me that is sad that I didn't end up an atheist, because it would have been appropriately contrarian as an intellectual. Do you understand? Imagine me, it would have fit perfectly.
Yeah.
And I like atheism, and I don't say it in a patronizing way. Atheism is not laziness, it's not, there's a strength behind it to believe that I've looked at life in the face and I'm like, you know what, I can do this by myself without needing to use God as a crutch, which is how most of us use God. God is our sugar daddy that, we do things for God, God does it Father Christmas. So there's an elegance and a simplicity to atheism, more so agnosticism. I liked it. It is easily explainable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, for instance, if I say I heard God, it is easier to say my intuition. Yeah. Because saying I heard God requires leaps of faith. It requires even a certain pomposity. Yeah. That is easier to do away with if you're an atheist. But I said in the book, I cannot deny my experience. That I got to the end of my doubt and I found God
at the end of your day. I like that.
Yes.
I like that line. Depression was the worst thing that ever happened to me, and I do not wish it on anyone. Neither do I ever wish to experience it again. But it was also the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah. Because it helped you to find God again.
It helped me to find God, and it helped me to find life.
Life.
Yes, it helped me to find life.
Okay, fantastic. Now, as we begin to round up, the experience you had, you described in your book how the role you played in getting President Buhari into office. Yes. You were one of those young people in 2015, pre-2015, suddenly behind the President Buhari that the world had known as the dictator, the disciplinarian, the non-smiling man who was going to straighten everybody out. So people couldn't fit him into democracy.
Yes, they couldn't.
So you were the guys that changed the perception around him. And you wrote about that picture of him wearing a suit. When I read that, I said, so now you. You're going to put a suit on the general. Yes. Okay, so and all that.
Not just put a suit on the general, we're the ones that kicked off this whole tradition of photography, a prominent personal photographer, because we hired Bayo Omoboriowo for the campaign. And we thought Buhari was going to resist. They'd be like, why would I carry the photographer up and down? Buhari didn't refuse. So we thought it's not just this suit. You need to continue to be seen.
The picture of him and the
baby.
The baby. That was his granddaughter.
Yes, that was his granddaughter. Yes.
That was the idea.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, you guys were something else. So that whole repackaging of Buhari.
Yes.
That was you guys were.
That was our work. Yes. What the people saw in the media. Yes.
That was new
Yes.
in Nigeria, right? Because I can't remember if there was any kind of PR at that level. You know.
There was consultants for Jonathan, but not on this scale for Goodluck Jonathan. He began it, but Buhari's government institutionalized
so
it.
So the
from
APC basically hired your company to do that?
Yes, stagecraft.
And you and Adebola led your company to do that?
Yes.
Now, so you described all that, and then you also described how after he got into office, by the way, you never believed he would get into office.
I didn't.
But eventually got in. I read that in your book.
Yes, I didn't.
Then suddenly, surprisingly, he gets into office, and then everything changed.
Yes.
Can you describe that?
It was, I felt some kind of panic because people who are not in that campaign can't understand it. Even with the professional politicians, there was a sense of hope. Even with those who wanted to take advantage, they felt like it was a movement candidacy. And so everybody, these ex-governors, I won't call their names, who were part of the policy council, they were ready to hit the road running. They had policy papers set up. They had the ideal. APC was a party that had an ideology. It's a makings of an ideology. Almost a socialist bent, pro-poor, all of that. So these governors had been, many of the policy thinkers were in the Tinubu camp. So they had a commonality. And so the idea was, okay, we've won an election, let's go into governors, ministers, policy declarations. So a person who's close to me who was with the president said that they came into a meeting, and then a briefing meeting. The first time he told me, he came to a briefing meeting, and the man has waved them off.
That was Buhari.
Buhari, I don't have time for this. And before then, I had been panicking because you're a president of a country in a state of emergency. At least that's the way that we presented the campaign, because that's what we felt. And you're spending the 3 months or 2 months or whatever before inauguration doing courtesy visits.
There were no ministers for like 6 months.
I was shocked. I'm like, there is a national crisis. There are national crises. You need to hit the ground running. There was no sense of urgency. That was my first sign. When I heard this from my friend who was in Daura physically, that he's no longer listening to anybody. So this was a culture shock, because before you won, he was open-minded and listening.
Like everything you suggested.
Yeah. So the switch for me and for even power brokers was shocking. And so I knew that this was not going to end well. But still I waited. And I'm like you, this small boy. Even if old people who have sense also supported this man, let's give him time. But then it took so much time to get the ministers. And by the time, so I thought, okay, we're going to be importing special forces ministers, the kind of ministers. When the ministers were announced, I'm like, this is what we've been waiting for. Then the Chibok girls thing, there was no sense of urgency. And Chibok, I was a single issue voter.
Chibok girls happened during
Jonathan. That's what turned me personally against the Jonathan administration. So for me, I was a single issue voter.
You did work for the campaign of Jonathan,
yes,
right?
The first time. Yes,
first time.
Yes. But he became, so I was close to the Jonathan administration. The Future Awards was hosted in Aso Rock. It was broadcast live on NT and I think on channels.
Yeah.
So I was close to the highest echelon of the Jonathan government. It was expected that I was going to work on the 2015 Jonathan campaign. So what people don't know in the public is that, and at that time, APC had not been founded. I didn't have any friends. In fact, if you go back to Twitter, 2015, I was constantly being attacked by the ACN and the CPC for being a Jonathan boy.
Oh.
So and those tweets are still there because I don't delete my tweets. And so what had happened, when I broke down the relationship, I damaged that relationship and I was ready to bear the consequence. Because I thought, okay, you cannot work for this campaign. These other guys hate you.
Yeah.
You are lost. And I write it in the book for years. That's when we first had our first small financial crisis, because we ran a policy advocacy company, and we were not getting a job from government because I'm attacking the government, the Jonathan government publicly. We're not getting money from this because ones are like, we've already cancelled you.
Yeah.
So, but when Chibok happened, Chibok offended me deeply. It felt like a fundamental lack of humanity. And what's the point of having a government if our humanity is not sacrosanct? So by the time I saw the candidate that we ran on, this is the issue that made me turn on my people. And then for months, you are now doing their same playbook. You are attacking the protesters. I lost it. As I say in the book, it destroyed my sense of certainty about politics.
So you were with Jonathan.
Yes.
Chibok happened.
Yes.
Then that shattered you.
Yes.
Then
I got hope.
Fast forward.
Yes.
You were with APC. You pushed Buhari in, and then suddenly Buhari wasn't delivering like you thought.
Yeah.
So those two experiences.
Yes.
Combined to break you in a way that was.
Politically, I've not spoken up openly about any candidate I support since the Buhari election.
Did you find it very embarrassing?
No, I didn't find it embarrassing. I found it. Embarrassing wasn't the word, because embarrassing means that I was worried about how it looked to other people. No,
yeah.
I was worried about my own political philosophy. Like, what do I believe? And if I was so sure that this was the movement that was going to change the country, how can I be sure of anything else in the future? How can I speak with certainty? And I still don't speak with certainty. Nigeria is now a polarized political space like most countries of the world. So we don't have the important conversations. So people say, oh, you voted for Buhari, you were paid money. I had a coherent political philosophy, and it broke.
Yeah.
And the evidence of that brokenness exists till today.
Until now.
It's not. I worked for a winning campaign. I worked for winning campaigns across the continent. Nigerian politicians would call me to come and work for their campaigns after, and I would say no. I'm just like, I have a company that there's a new CEO that does some work, but I personally, I just couldn't. Secondly, there's also a part of me where my egbons, like Yoruba word for elders, who understand Nigeria, told me, look, just do your work as a PR person. Don't talk about this thing in public. I'm like, no, we're about to change Nigeria. I'm telling you. So later I thought to myself, maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut. Maybe I should have just done my job, whether I believed in him or not, and not be so public about how much I believed in this candidate. Because what has it gotten me? What did it do? So it didn't destroy my hope, but it damaged my certainty.
So that plus all the things going on in your business life, your private life, all those combined at the time when you had
this depression, yes.
Yeah, but then depression eventually saved your life.
Yes.
All things work together for good, right?
All things work together for good. All things can work together for good. That's the way. So I always help people to understand it by saying, when you say all things work together for good, it can feel insensitive. So I say all things can work together for good. And that's the point of the book.
Chude, it's been nice having this conversation with you.
For having me.
I highly recommend this.
Thank you.
It's just great work.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me on your show. Like I said, this is the best book show in the region as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
And it shows, and what I envy with your work is that you have been consistent. It's like the hedgehog concept. This is the thing you are passionate about. You've taken it around the world from Nigeria. I'm just excited to be back on your couch. Thank
you very much. We're very honored to have you here. Thank you. Thanks for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you for having me.
So much packed in there. So much. I'm sure you agree with me, don't you? Send us your comments through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. And like I said at the beginning, and I will keep saying, get yourself a copy of Chude's book, read it, and then send us your thoughts. We could go on and on and on. He is the kind of person that you want to spend episodes and episodes and episodes just discussing because so much packed in there. But time is never our friend on Channels Book Club. So, right there on your screen are our social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your comments, your inquiries, your thoughts, your ideas, criticisms. Yeah, we're open to them. And let's see how we can keep improving this show just for you. My name is Olakunle Kasumu. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.